yes. Hopefully this isn't sideways. Namaste, man. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm going to be doing I do these lives on Twitter. You know, the Twitter has this Twitter Spaces. I'm going to be doing it live. I'm here in my place in New Orleans in the French Quarter. This is the courtyard area. So if you ever visit New Orleans, the French Quarter, as you walk down the street, you're going to see all these houses. This is what's behind those houses. So the yards are in the back. And so if this house, and then if you go over there, right, you're going to be on the street on the other side. So there's all these courtyards behind it. It's a very fascinating place if you've never been. The house, the property we're in here, this is 199 years old. It's built in 1822, so it's almost 200 years old. Originally I thought it was 1841, done a little more research, it's 1822. So today I'm going to be talking on the coming storms and the new year, 2022. So appreciate it. Let's get into this. And everyone that's followed me this year or been involved in the money flow, if you purchased a book or a course, I hope it's helped you. I hope it's blessed your life. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to train, educate, and equip as many just average people, man, just regular people to love the stock market, to love investing, to love this stuff as much as I do. That's all I'm trying to do. Hopefully I'm not, looks like I'm leaning to the left. If I am, bear with me. Let's get this Spaces started. Feels like we should have some theme song. You know, if you ever watch my lives for stock trading, I always have some theme music to. Let's turn my mic off. I always do some kind of theme music to kind of get things going, man. I like to get pumped up, man. So people are coming on Twitter now as I talk to YouTube here, but you know, I mean, I guess a lot of people probably do that, right? You have some sort of theme music in your life. You want to, I don't know where, I probably got that from Tony Robbins back in the day. He would always say that you should have things that can quickly get you excited. If you ever see professional sports people, there's something that just gets them in the mood quickly. Like you know, if you're having to summon up like courage or summon up enthusiasm or summon up motivation, you know, you don't want to have to do that. And I'm not saying you don't have to do that all the time, but you need a way, a fast way, a quick way, a trigger word, so to speak, that'll trigger you into, okay, I need to be in action mode, or okay, I need to be in, you know, even relaxing. Like you may be a person that's always edgy, always on the go, always, and you have a hard time relaxing. Well, you need a trigger. You need something that just puts you in that mood or in that mode, so to speak, quickly. For one, it saves time and it gets you in the mode. So, you know, for me, I'm not too stressing about the stock market until like 15 minutes before it opens. And then I got to get in that mode, right? And because, you know, and my situation hasn't always been this way where, you know, sometimes I had a job and I'd be working my job and I got the stock market and I got the real estate. And so I just needed to be able to flip those switches quickly, flip the hat, so to speak, put on a new hat. Now I'm doing this, you know, I can't be thinking too much about stocks while I'm working on a property. You know, I gotta flip my switch. I gotta flip the thing and be in that mode. The faster you can get there, the better. What's up? I'm just letting some people come on here on Twitter Spaces. I don't know about you guys. I wrote this little booklet here. I've got a few booklets that I've written that I haven't released. Some of it because some of my writings are just ramblings of a mad person. You know, I had a person editing. I've been working on this one called The Two Selves for a minute, and it's only like 20 pages long. And even the person editing it was just like, I have no idea what you're saying. Like they were a little confused, you know. They don't normally listen to me or read my writing, so some of the words that I use, like the acronym for success is be plus do, right, equals have the success, meaning you have to be the thing you're trying to do. A lot of people are trying to do something. So it's do. You know, I'm got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do that. Or you could just be that. And there is a difference. And I get it that maybe this is semantics. Maybe I'm, you know, it's just a way of rephrasing things. And I think there's huge power in that. And that's what I'm going to talk a little bit about today is the genie of your tongue. And I don't know about you, but 2019 was the worst year of my life. 2020 followed up being possibly the worst year. Or no, 2020, worst year of my life, not 19. 2021, awful. And here we are going into 2022. and I'm hoping for better. And I've really had a hard time. I mean, really. You won't see me coming on social and crying much about it or putting my problems out there, but I've had really, really difficult problems, like the kind that put you on the floor, crawled up as a baby. I mean, and I've been to 2 war zones, and that was easy. Like going to Iraq was easy. Like you just shoot people. It's not that complicated. Just follow orders. Keep your head down. That shit was easy in comparison to stuff that I faced, you know, last year. Losing my teenage son. Dude, war ain't got shit on that. I'd kill 100 people. It ain't got nothing on losing a child. And then in the midst of that, having responsibilities. You have other people that look to you that you have to take care of. Trying to be support for people when you don't have it. You know, it's not there. Like you just feel like passing away, man. How do you know, and I would use these triggers. I need things that can just instantly make me motivated, just instantly get me in the game to play, you know. I can't wait on things to happen for me to get motivated. I can't wait on my circumstances to change for me to get inspired. I can't wait. Otherwise it's never going to happen. Other people are not going to do it for you. And life will bring horrible things to you. Your parents will die. And then the next day, you got to pay your electric bill. And you've got and people are like, well, don't talk about, no. This is real fucking life, dude. This is really going to happen to you. Good friends are going to die. Loved ones are going to die. You're going to have people who get cancer and they have all these horrible things happen to them. That's called life. And you have to, and you may say, well, I know that. I know. But in the midst of that, when that stuff happens, you still have to execute your trades. You still have to manage your positions. You still have to maintain that real estate you bought. You still have to pay the electric bill and call the plumber. And guess what? Life goes on without you. And that's part of the hard part, man, is that life goes on without you. And so for me, I'm always trying to look for a better, you know, hopefully this year's better than last year. And even in the midst of all the pain, and not 3 days ago, I had another tragic event happen to me. It's like, can this year end, please? And those things help you kind of put things in perspective. So like if a stock dropping 40, 50% upsets you, not much shit has happened in your life, okay? Those things are really fucking small on the scale of what's gonna happen to you in life. And so you better be able to manage that. And believe me, trading stocks, investing in stocks is training ground for running a business or, you know, promoting a whatever or building a whatever. Like it's part of the process, man. And so you're gonna have to toughen up. And you know, the shorter you're trading, the more you're gonna get hit, right? And so all this stuff is intertied, man. It's all intertied. Trading stocks is very much like owning real estate. Very similar. To me, it's almost the same thing. There's not much difference between owning a dividend stock and owning a property. You know, the difference is with a stock when it goes down, because you can click a button, it's easy to second guess yourself. With a property, you're fucking in. There's no getting out. You own it now. And so tomorrow you got to get up and deal with all the drama and the problems with it. With the stock, because it reprices itself every second, even though real estate does reprice itself, the price of drywall changes. People don't know this. Unless you go to Walmart or Home Depot, you don't know the actual price of a 2x4. I mean, if I ask most people on here, what's the price of a 2x4? You probably don't know. Or what is the price of a good quality nail gun? Probably don't know. Well, what is the price of caulking? You know, per tube or for a 12-pack or for paint or premium or like all these different little aspects that go into this. Most people probably don't know. And it's, well, let me not get too off track there. That's more those things are more what you need to know about real estate than the actual process of buying it. I'm convinced that most of the stuff that people watch on real estate or they're interested in is completely fucking useless. They want to know about what loan to get. Dude, none of that is going to be it doesn't matter if you have a good loan or a bad loan. Are you qualified to even get a loan? Right? Yes. Hey, Appreciate you even making it this far in the video. I'm not gonna post the whole thing. This is one of those, I do these things on Twitter called Spaces, where it's just audio. If you're on Twitter, follow me at fullauto11. I appreciate it. If the, if the talks benefit you at all, if you enjoy them, let me know, text me, DM me, whatever. From now through January 1st, I've got both my books, The Money Flow Trading System and You Don't Have to Die Broke. I'll sign them for you, put them in the mail, 87 bucks. I know these books will change your life. I know it because they changed mine. I'm a living example of the stuff I teach. If you've ever purchased one of my books or courses, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me personally. I answer all texts, all DMs as fast as I can. Now, back to the video. I probably won't post the whole hour of this message. If you enjoyed it, let me know down in the comments. Again, I hope you have a great Christmas and a happy new year. I look forward to trading with many of you and getting to know more of you in the coming year. I know what I was gonna get into today, this idea of credit, and going into the new year and positioning yourself in 2022 to, listen, storms are going to come at you this year. If you think you're just gonna smooth sail through this year, maybe. I hope you do. I pray, that's my prayer for you. But the reality is, it's probably not what's gonna happen. You're probably gonna get smashed in the face with something. You're probably gonna have some debt you didn't think about, something's gonna come up and bite you, something you did last year, something's gonna come your way, and how you handle it is determined right now, right? Where you're gonna be at the end of next year, at the end of, I'm gonna be richer. I promise you that. At the end of this year, if I'm still here on planet Earth, I will be way fucking richer than today. Because I'm very unhappy with today. I'm not happy with where I'm at. Maybe you're good. I'm not good at all. I'm very discontent with where I'm at right now. And I've been that way for a long time. And that's what helps me push, man. And I use that as a trigger. And sometimes people think, well, man, that doesn't feel like, it doesn't make them feel good, or, well, I don't know what that means. You know, I'm a grown man. I don't need to feel good all the time. I need to be motivated. I need to move, man. I need to do things, not sit around feeling good about myself or what's going on around me, right? I need to take proactive action. I need to, be a king, and that's what you hear me use that phrase a lot. So a king needs to be discontent. He needs to be unhappy with the way things are going on. Otherwise, the kingdom never expands, because you're just good sitting in your own poop. I mean, you just sit there. Oh, this is nice and warm. And it's like, no, I've got to push out of this, man. And that doesn't mean you're not grateful. Don't misunderstand happiness with grateful. You're grateful for food. You're grateful for water. You're grateful. I get it. You can always find something to be grateful for. But you should find a lot of things that you're discontent with. Like, I'm not happy about this. I don't like the fact that I got $700 in checking. I don't like the fact that my credit score is 650. I don't like the fact that I don't own a full Bitcoin. It pisses me off that whatever, XYZ. That should become part of what you're thinking about in this new year. What are the things that you allowed to happen this year that you shouldn't have? If we could go back, what would you have done different? And, I'm always thinking that. Like, what should I have done last year to make this year better? Because this is where I get a chance to do that. I'm not talking about dumb shit like I'm gonna lose weight, man, anybody can make that, those kind of things, right? I'm talking about actual shit that could change 2 or 3 people's lives. That's what you should be focused on, man. This, I'm sure you know this, but like, you don't need a church or even a Bible or a mosque to experience who created you. Any more than you need to bounce a ball to experience gravity. It's there. You can just look around. You might say, well, Gerald, I don't believe in God. All right, well, believe in yourself then. Whatever it is you put belief in it there. But either way, you still didn't make yourself. But all you got to do, experience that, whatever it is for you, whether it's yourself or God or whoever created it, is just sit there, man. It's not the do part. And I've talked about this. Success is not in the doing. Success is in the being. I mean, the key of it starts in being. Who are you? So if you are yes, there's practice. Repetition is the mother of skill. But you have to begin assuming that shit in your mind. So if you are a day trader, then you're a day trader. And you take on the characteristics of a day trader. And you read the things that day traders read, and you look at the things you don't go look at the buy and hold, right? Like you're trying to narrow in your window. And so you need to be that. If you wanted, whatever it is you're trying to do, first assume that thing that you're trying to be. And as you do that, and this takes practice, you can't just do it in one time. So when people tell me they read my book, I'm like, okay, good for you. You still don't know shit, bro. Nothing. You know fucking Zippo. Why? Because it's not something you read one time. It's something you live. You can't read it. I read it. I'm good. Bullshit. You couldn't even comprehend every fucking thing that's in it in one reading. It's not possible. Your brain is not possible. It wasn't possible for me. It's not possible. You can't. That's not how it works. Wealth isn't something you read. It's something you do. You know? And you read because you are. You're not reading to get. You're reading because you are. You are that. You are a person. So that's why you do that. It's not to get to something. And so a lot of times people are doing it out of the wrong context, meaning they're reading a course or going through that because they're trying to do something. But you have to be it, man. Like take one step back. That makes sense? I hope it does. And it takes a minute for this to creep in. Like the money flow is not something you read and then you know it. It's something that you live for the rest of your life. Money flows in and money flows out. If you've ever seen that video where I talk about that. Money flows not just about stocks. Money flows not just about real estate. Money flows about everything. Money flows in, money flows out. In your checking account, money flows in, money flows out, right? And so the money flows bigger than that. And so we don't have to go to church or read a Bible to experience God, right? Or whatever, Buddha, Muhammad, or nothing, maybe yourself. Any more than we need to bounce a ball to experience gravity. With or without our permission, law of gravity's there, right? You don't have to believe in it. Same with God or the universe. And often it's not in doing, but in just being. And when I say being, meaning sitting, being still, just listening. Sometimes the best move in the market is no move in the market. And sometimes people get antsy. I need to do this, I need to do that. Maybe you need to do nothing. Maybe you just need to sit there and just look and just watch charts with nothing to do. You're not searching for a breakout like somebody fucking on Ritalin looking for a stock to pick. You're just in the flow of the market. And you don't need a stock pick. You don't need that. You have stocks. And you're just in the flow of the market. You don't need to do anything. Probably what you need to do is just watch and take no action. Most people take too much action. Matter of fact, the money you lose comes from taking action. I don't know if you know this, but when you put on a trade and then you lose, guess what? That's from you doing that. You did the action. So sometimes not losing is a win. And so in life, as we go forward in 2022, and I promise you, I will have problems with real estate. Something catastrophic will probably happen. Something will break, some lines to the city, a roof, a storm, something crazy is going to happen. I know this. And how I handle it then, I get to determine right now as I play that scenario out. And guess what? The stock market will crash in the future. And because I've played that so many times in my head, I already know what to do, man. It's to do what I was been trained to do what I've been thinking about doing, right? There's no panic, there's no fear. Stocks go up, stocks go down. Guess what? Mortgage REITs might get hit. All it takes is the Federal Reserve to do this or that, and mortgage REITs are cut in half. Are you going to panic, or is it going to become an opportunity? You know, all it takes is a couple little tweaks, and growth stocks are flying again, right? That's it. That's all it takes, man. It's the simplest little things that you have no control over. These things that move shit up and down, you have no control over that stuff. You just have to control how you respond to it. Sometimes the best response is no response. Just watching. Just watching. I find people go from either trying to do a bunch of stuff to becoming frustrating to then not looking. They don't even want to log in. And it's sad because I know they'll never master trading if you can't look at the charts all the time. Even if you're not winning, you can look at the charts, you know. You don't have to log into your account to look at the charts. And it's the time you spend with charts. And as we go forward, man, and I promise you, you're going to have good times, you're going to have bad times. And all these little, I like New Year's resolutions, but none of them are going to work unless you are it, I mean, shit you're doing, I'm trying to do this, trying to do that, it's the stuff that you are, In other words, be. I be it, I am it. I don't need to try to be one, I'm not trying to do this, I am this. And so everything I do is a natural extension of a person who is this, a person who owns these type of things, right? I am that kind of person, It takes, recently purchasing a beach property. If you saw what I used to put it on my story, I would talk about I'm gonna buy a beach property. I'd show you notebooks from years ago. Well, guess what? I had to get into be in a position, I had to be the kind of person that could even make a move like that, right? You can't make a move like that without being that type of person. And what does that mean? Meaning I'm qualified that if I was using a bank, that they would even look at me, right? If I'm not credit worthy, why would they look at me? So they can take your house. You could lose your house this year. I knew a lot of people that lost their house in 2008. I had family members lose a house. They can take your job. Matter of fact, I had a family member who was losing his house who wanted to move into one of my rentals. And I said, no, it's a rental. It's not a family hideaway. They can take your job and they can even close down your credit cards. But they can't take, here's the thing they can't take. You could lose your job, you could lose your business, they could take your cards, maybe, I don't know, maybe they seize your trading account. I don't know, I'm saying a lot of these things could be taken from you. But you know what they can't take? They can't take your word. They can't take the things you say, right? They can't take what I gave away freely. Right? You might take my book off Amazon, you may kick me off Instagram, but I gave it away already. You can't take what I give away. That's why Jesus said it's better to give than to receive. Why? Because nobody can take it from you. They can't take what you give away. That's already been given. And so that stuff is a credit to your account. And this is bigger than just that, man. When I say your word, a lot of people would agree with that, and then they have bad credit. And somehow they've detached themselves from finances and their relationship with honesty. Meaning the only way to get bad credit is not to keep your word. You understand that, right? We can get down, you can come up with every excuse in the world. Well, I got divorced, and well, this happened and that happened, and this happened and that happened. Now you can make all the excuses you want to come up with, but at the end of the day, you did not keep your word, and therefore your credit was banked. And if we begin to see our transactions with strangers, because these are strangers that you owed money to, right? These are strangers. And so if we guard our tongue with strangers as much as we do with people we love, and so maybe we would never lie to our mother, our spouse, or whatever, but we feel cool lying to a bank or to a creditor, to a realtor, we're cool to lie to them. But it doesn't go unseen. Remember I talked about you have to be first before you can do. And so in our doing, we tend to take corners and try to hack things and shortcuts and lies. Problem is that's not being. Right? You're being a fake version of it. It's not real. And so it becomes super important going into this new year that you honor your word. This is the one thing they can't take from you. They can't. There's other intangibles too, like work ethic. Nobody can take that. Right? Nobody can take these things. Those are the things that create all the other things. Me keeping my word is what built credit. Hey, I'll pay you, I pay you back, right? And if you begin to see these transactions as spiritual, the reason I'm given another property is I have the ability to manage that property. And in the Bible, it talks about whatever you can handle, God will just give you more, as much as you can handle. And so you have to be a person who can handle it before you receive it. So again, we're back to not doing, but being a person. So are you a person that could hold $1 million? Now, most people say, what if you won that lottery, bro? Ask people, what would you do first? Oh, they'll tell you everything they're gonna do to get rid of that money. Why? They're not used to having $1 million. Last thing they wanna do is keep it. Jeez, no, man. They want things, and I like things. But nobody's ever gonna look at you and go, I don't know, man, I probably just sit on it for a while. Why? Because they're not used to having it. It's a spiritual thing, man. If you were on my live the other day, this guy was referred to me. I'd been exchanging DMs with him. And this is the first time in his life. He's 30. He's got a real job. He's not in debt. He's doing good. He's got $6,000 in the bank. He doesn't own any crypto. He doesn't own any stocks. He's just basically at zero. And someone pointed him to me. I'm like, cool. And they thought I was going to tell him what stocks to buy. Like, man, the last thing you need to buy is some stocks, bro. You need to hold some money. You just told me $6,000 is the most money you ever had. Why don't we get to 10? Before you, in your mind, get rid of it. Because his first thought was to get rid of the money. Now, other people say, well, it's a good idea to put it in stocks, right? Yeah, if you're not a guy that's used to having $7,000, I guess get rid of it and put it in a stock. But what if we would be, what if, and that's what I told him. No, we're not doing that. Because you don't know shit about stocks. You've done zero study. You don't know anything about it. Why don't we, but you do know about having $6,000. You know how to get to 6,000. Let's do that again. And he's like, what do you mean? Get another 6. And while you're getting that 6, go read on stocks. Go read on real estate. Go read on improving your credit. And I told him, so I sent him an email and I said, listen, I need you to find me or I'm never speaking to you again. Here's your list of things to do or don't ever contact me again. 1, I want to know your credit score exactly. I want you to pull your credit report. Okay? We got to get the 6,000 to 10,000. We're going to open an E-Trade account. We're going to open I gave him some links. And we're only going to put $100 in there. See, his first step isn't to go give the money to the stock market. His first step is to be a guy that can collect money. Because if you never get used to having money, you're never going to get enough money to ever do anything that'll change your life. So if you want to buy real estate, you need to get used to having chunks of fucking money. You need to be a person that can have 20,000 and then not look for an excuse to spend it. And you have 22,000 the next month and then not look for an excuse to spend it. And then you're at 27,000 and then the world starts coming at you. And then you have this problem, the kid needs braces and the car has a problem and this and that. And you have to defend it. You have to fight with all of your power to keep that money in the checking account because the world will try to take it. And most people don't have it in them to protect the money. And they will give it to whatever problem in life comes along. Or whatever perceived problem they have. And it may not even be theirs. Truth is, they were never comfortable with the money. Because they're not being. They're always trying to do. I don't need to do things to be a real estate person. I already know how to do them. What I need to be is be a holder of real estate. I need to be a person who can accumulate 100 houses. What does that look like? My focus anymore is the transactional process of, finding. That's fucking baby stuff, man. It's in your mind being a person that can actually even accumulate properties. You don't need a course on buying a house. You need a course on getting your shit together so that you can buy a house. You get what I'm saying? Most people are too far down the road, man. They're working on the wrong thing. This is easy. I don't need to show someone how to buy a stock on E-Trade. So the guy was like, well, how do I click buy? Shut the fuck up, man. Do not contact me with that bullshit. You go sit down and figure it out. You put in work and you sit there. You Google it. Then you click the damn button. You don't need a class on that, man. Right? That's not what you need a class on. You need a class on keeping your money. Again, being a person who will collect money. It's the hardest thing to do. Got a helicopter flying over the corner here. But when you are a person who can collect money, and sometimes I catch the extreme, but not often, meaning they're sitting on 150 grand. It's like, whoa, right? They have that part down. The part they don't have now is how to execute with the money, how to put the money to work, how to put the money in the thing. But that's not your problem. Most people's problem, that is not. It's protecting the money that they accumulate. And that's your problem coming into 2020. 22, is 20. I don't know why I keep saying 2020. The problem is going to be protecting what you have. Keeping the money you have from the world, man. Especially inflation as it begins to kick in. Sometimes when I talk like that, people, this idea that you can speak your world into existence, which I believe wholeheartedly. That's how I've done everything. Before I do something, I begin to speak about it, talk about it, put it out there, show pictures of it. Why? I got to be a person who sees himself as a person who owns these things. I have to be able to see myself there first. It's the only way I get to keep it. If you get something that you don't see yourself having, you don't get to keep it. This is why lottery winners lose all their money. They never saw themselves with a lot of money. And again, play that game with your friends. Say, man, if you won that, what would you do? And just see the list of shit they buy. Whatever comes out first, that's you. For me, it would just be how much property would I buy? What stocks would I put it in? There's almost nothing I would buy. Maybe in a while I might, but there's almost nothing. But that's my natural state, man. If you give me 10 grand, good. It gets me to my next house faster. I'm gonna do, this is my natural, what I naturally want to do. And the moment you get to there, that's just being a person who does that. This stuff gets really easy. You don't need courses anymore. You don't need any of that stuff, man. Sometimes the born again types will say, well, that's new age. No, it's not. It's just age, man. It's just age. Jesus said the same stuff, man. Divine power, man. How many people we got on here? It was the weekend. It's the holidays, man. People get all jacked up in the holidays. People like their holidays, man. Then you're gonna have New Year's, so you spend a bunch of money for Christmas, and then you got New Year's. You can spend a bunch of money on that. Maybe do a break, and then we can buy our loved ones a bunch of expensive shit on Valentine's Day. You guys will go buy your girls shit. Then, we got spring break coming up, and if you just start playing that game out, they have you kind of booked up all year. So I would pick and choose the ones that I'm gonna participate in and opt out of the others. I did that years ago. It's like, no, I will not be celebrating that. You guys celebrate that. Why? Because I found that it was stealing my attention, and it was stealing from me getting to where I'm trying to go, man. The world is set up to steal from you. I don't know if you know this or not. And it's going to come at you from all angles. That's what I was saying at the beginning. So as we go in, and this is not a negative message, this is a message. Like as you go into 2020, 2022, why can I not say this? Like we said in the beginning, you're going to have problems, man. But it's how are you prepared for them right now? What is your plan when that happens? Be thinking these things through, man. And yeah, you want to be optimistic if you're positioning yourself to receive. Are you properly positioned to receive? If a good deal came your way, can you execute on it? And that's why, to me, it was super important of that gentleman. The last thing he needed to do was run off and buy some stocks. He's not going to keep them. He's not going to do the right thing. He's going to buy some shit and then sell it and then buy some shit over here and then sell it. He's not going to be Warren fucking Buffett on his first transaction. And this is the first time he's ever had $6,000. So you think he's going to go do the right thing? Absolutely not. I with 100% certainty can promise you that money will be pissed away if he doesn't do what I said in the beginning. Just keep it and get to 10,000 and then make 10,000 zero. That's your new zero. Your zero is 10 grand. There is no 10 grand. You're at 10, that's your zero. And you have to defend that. And that number marches up over the years as you do things and accumulate things. And so I know, but here's what the guy will say, well, I could have 10,000 in stocks. I know, but you don't, That's always the pushback I get on it. And I know. And then the first real tragedy that comes in your life, guess what you're doing? You're liquidating your stocks to fix your problem. And so you're not a person that can defend your stocks because your foundation isn't properly prepared. You don't have the buckets right. You don't have the bucket. So when you do that, it makes you a horrible trader, makes you a horrible investor. Then you start looking to do dumb shit like partnering with people. Partnering. Not to say that partnering can be bad, but why would someone be your partner if you don't know what the hell you're doing? That's what I always wonder. If someone who's new, and let's say you're new in real estate, new in this, why would I want to be your partner? Why would anybody want to be your partner? So if you get two people that are new, now you just got double stupid trying to do a deal. That's not that, a lot of times when I see the partner stuff, it's because, okay, well, I don't know how to do this, or I don't have this. And I'm not saying partnerships aren't necessarily a good idea all the time, but I think at first, if you don't know what you're doing, and if your partner does, why is your partner even bringing you in? Because why would a person bring in someone who doesn't know what they're doing? And so you have to start asking yourself, does this partnership even make sense? Like, why are we partnering? Is it because we both feel like we don't know what we're doing? And maybe we should get to where we feel like we know what we're gonna do, And then I don't think you'll need a partner. Most of the time, partnerships is based out of weakness. It's something I don't have, or something, not even that that's a bad thing. It's just, I've seen so many disasters in business and in relationships, and especially in real estate with partners. I'm very much against partners, unless you're sleeping with them or married to them kind of thing. I think it's a bad, and even then you should be married. And I could give you case after case after case of a case that ends in a complete fucking disaster because of partnerships. But people still do it, man. I would highly advise against partnerships until you know what you're doing. Build your base. Don't need other people, man. I mean, we need other people. All the money we want is in the pockets, purses, wallets, checkbooks, and credit cards of other people. But you need to be able to execute and do things on. Like, you don't need a friend to drag you to the gym. Let's be workout buddies. That just means you can't motivate yourself to go to the gym. Meaning, be the person that does. I don't need to be motivated. I don't need to be pulled into this. I don't need to be reminded to do this. Like, I am that force of nature. I'm that force that pushes me to where I need to be, So get there real fast, man. I had a guy in the chat room today, I don't know if you're on here, asked me if something was a stage 2 breakout. It was obviously way past the stage 2 breakout. I started to flip out. Why? I just assume everyone knows these things. I assume you've studied that. Like, it seems like the absolute fucking basics, right? How do we take it? If we're constantly revisiting the basics, how do we go bigger? Like, some things just have to be, you have to assume them faster. You have to take them in faster, like, and I say this a lot on my classes when I'm teaching stocks. I can show children how to trade. The problem is going to be you. I just take your kid and I say, look, when this black thing pushes above this green light, circle it. That's a stage 2 breakout. I don't know how many times you have to have that conversation of what a stage 2 breakout is when you just look at it and go, okay, that's what it is. And it'll be that tomorrow too, and the next day, and the next fucking day. It never changes. But as we get older and we get into this mind, like, it's some reason, with adults, it's like we have all these filters and the way we're looking at things, and we get it all confused, and we start adding more than we can handle, and what should be simple becomes very complicated. And trading is very, very simple. Trading is super simple, man. It should be simple. If it's not simple, you're making it way too complicated. You're doing something wrong. And it should be boring, to be honest. And people say, well, it's not boring to me. I know you're young and you're still new at it, so it's not exciting. It's still exciting to you, but after 21 years of trading, it's boring. I love trading. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying, but it is boring. Anything you've done for 21 years, it's not that exciting. Like, I don't get that excited when I buy a property. Like, if you're new, I mean, it's exciting for a minute, but it's not like, I'm not staying awake nervous and sweating about it and thinking it's not like that, man. Of course I got another property. I'm supposed to get more properties. I'm a person that has properties. It's just me being me, right? So I don't need to, what am I getting excited about? Or a big stock move. If you're catching yourself still getting excited and down, oh, I'm bummed out on the down days and I'm excited on the up days, it's like, all right, man, come on. At some point we got to mature past that stuff, right? We're not kids. Markets go up, markets go down. Guess what? We're going to have a crazy run in the stock market, and then guess what? A crazy crash, and then a crazy run, and then a crazy crash. And so it is what it is, man. And good trading doesn't mean you're winning. You can flip a coin and buy a stock and it goes up. That'd make you a good trader. People get that. That good trading isn't winning. Good trading is you set a plan, you set a target, you put a stop, you executed on it. If you get stopped out, that was good trading. If you don't understand what I just said, you're not a trader. Meaning you can lose trading, and that's good trading. That was your plan, right? If it came back, you were going to get out. Well, there you go. That's good trading. You executed on your plan. That's good trading, following the plan. Here's what most people do, style drift. They follow it for a while. It's not exciting anymore. It doesn't tickle me, Gerald. When I get up, I'm not all tickly and excited. So then they start looking at something else. Oh, look at this. This guy does double upside down, triple condor, triple crypto-based option doogamadigs. Let me do that. Oh, and it's connected to an NFT. I want to do that. Let me do that. That's what I see a lot of people doing. I get asked, what do you think of NFTs? I always say the same thing. How much Bitcoin do you have? Well, none. Why don't you do that? Really? Before you run off and buy a piece of art that you don't know jack shit about, you don't know anything about art. What do you know about art? You went to art school? You're a fucking art fanatic? Seriously. What does anybody know about art except for maybe a few people? You don't have a painting in your house hung by an oil artist. If I asked you to name 6 of the top modern artists today, I highly doubt you could name 1. Most people don't know jack bean about art, but they're buying NFTs. They ain't got no Bitcoin. Again, back to what? Doing. See, they think the answer's in doing. I gotta do something. I gotta do something. I gotta do something. Do something. That's what meme stocks are about. I'm not against trading meme stocks. Trade meme stocks. Right? That's fine. But trade it because it's breaking out. Trade it because you found it. It's breaking out, man. Nobody asks me about GameStop anymore. Why not? Why don't we want to talk about GameStop every day? We just talk about it every day. I couldn't go live without AMC GameStop, AMC GameStop. That would be every other fucking question. Nobody wanted to ask me about BX. We're up 400% in, right? Nobody wanted to talk about Southern Electric. Why not? You'd be doing pretty good now instead of talking about GameStop and AMC if you'd have been just buying that boring ass utility company Southern Electric $20 ago. Right? Here's another one. FE. This is one we do in my Discord. FE is an electrical company. And I said, hey, buy this and never sell it. And we're buying it because they were caught up in a scandal and the stock dropped really big. And, I knew it would get worked out. They're the largest utility provider in the state of Ohio. They're not fixing to shut it down because of a couple stupid people. So we can use what happened to our advantage. Now we lay the money flow over the movement of price, right? Then what? Well, same in these meme stocks. If you see one run, let it crash, and then put money flow over the top of it, and you wait for the breakout and you buy it. Right? That's how you approach. There's nothing exciting about that. There's nothing to get pumped. It's a very simple process, and that's how you should approach that, man. In my opinion, is these things are all around you. I could give you 10 right now that nobody's asking me about, but they'll be 50, 60, 70% higher this time next year. Finding those requires sitting quietly, reading, thinking. It has nothing to do with your friend that sends you tickers. It has nothing to do with Reddit. None of that. Just being, man. You're a person who reads financial news. You're scanning through Barron's. You're scanning through Morningstar. You're looking at things. You're observing the flow of the market. So in my live yesterday, you notice all the retail stocks are what? That's the only stocks that are down right now. Retail stocks. Target, Walmart, Nordstrom's. Have you noticed this? If you haven't noticed that, I've got to challenge you whether you're actually an investor. And maybe you're not there yet. I mean, you have to be noticing these things. There's only 11 sectors of the S&P 500. So that's why when I get a guy who says, and I'm not against NFTs, I like NFTs, but my question is, do you own Bitcoin? And so if a guy's showing me, whatever stock, I'm like, cool, but tell me about the 11 sectors of the S&P 500. Let's take it back one. Right? So that we're approaching this thing. Remember my guy, he's got $6,000. Which stock should I buy? None of them. None of them. Why follow the path that everyone, you don't need to, man. You don't need to. Man, so this year, man, you got to make some good ones, man. If you're going to make some goals this year, make them good shit, man. Everybody does I'm going to stop drinking, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Start reading. Reading charts. You know what I mean by reading charts? So when you look at a chart, like all these things can just come to your mind instantly. Like, oh, stage 2, that's too far for me to buy, but it's in this sector. Oh, and so if I'm looking at, say, an AT&T, I'm automatically in my brain thinking about Verizon, T-Mobile, right? Or if I'm looking at Exxon, I'm automatically thinking about Halliburton, Chevron, Conoco, right? Right? If I'm thinking, Zynga, I'm naming up, like, you get what I'm saying? So I start going down, like, that's reading the chart. And then I go look, wait, if T's here, where's Verizon? Oh, wait, those are in the XLC, the communication sector. That's reading a chart. Meaning all this data is coming at you as you're looking at it. That's reading a chart. And so you can read a chart. And it's not, it's not like support lines and resistance and breakout. Oh, dude, if you sat with me for 1 hour, we should never have to have those conversations again. Like, you should move immediately from charting to the more deeper stuff. We shouldn't have to keep having a conversation on what a breakout is, or what support is, or where a stop is. That should be very fast. It's just bars on a screen, okay? Now, it may take you a minute. It may take you a minute to see it clearly, but if you print off your charts, I always know when I have someone, if you've been with me 2 or 3 months and you're still asking me basic questions, I know one thing you're not doing is printing off your charts. Meaning print them off and take a pencil and a piece of paper and find boxes. Find stage 1s, write them off. I used to print off every trade. Every single trade would be printed from a printer, and I would take my pen out and I would go, stage 2, breakout, price paid, blah, 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 and tentative stop, because I don't do hard stops, is here, target is here, and I would write out every one of these. I would 3-hole punch it and put it into my binder. And then when that trade, when something happened on that trade, I took profits, I go back and find it, open it up, first target hit, sold, blah, 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 right? And I would keep a trading log. What is that? That's reading, man. That's also reading. What am I doing? Reading my own log. And as I flip through this, you know what happens when you keep this for a year, which nobody on here will do? Nobody will do this because it's a lot of fucking work. When you keep a log like that, so now I do it digitally. If you go to thepetersreport.com, that's for me. It's for me. That's why it's written in, 1 and 2 line sentences. I don't need a fucking paragraph. So when someone goes, well, what did you mean by true value? Like, that's telling me true value. That's the value of the stock, true value. That's it. I don't need to go into a paragraph of how you get to true value, right? I'm not trying to sell anything. This is my trading log. And so on every trade, at the top of the chart, I write true value, TV. And now what is that? That's just a general consensus. So I go out and I see what are other analysts saying it's worth. And if they all say that Roku's worth 340, then 340 is the target. And every once in a while I got some hecklers last week. They're like, well, how can you trust, an analyst? And I'm like, all right, mister who didn't go to Harvard and get an MBA in finance, what is your strategy? You're going to get those guys. So they don't trust analysts. Okay, well, then make up your own. Go spend hours reading, come up with your, whatever. If that works for you, to me, that's a waste of time. I need to know, is it a viable business? And I pay people to help me go through and sort and select and figure out what value is, because I don't have time to do that. Just like I pay a plumber to do my plumbing. Today I hired an electrician to work on my property here in the French Quarter. I know how to work on houses, but I am not an electrician. All right, I didn't go to Harvard and I don't have an MBA in fucking accounting. So when I look through the books, I know the basics, but I can't spend hours and hours and hours reading cash flow statements and all that. It does me no good. It adds no value to my trading. None. What I need to do is get through my charts. I need to do portfolio management. I need to stay in the flow of the market. I need to execute when RSI hits 70, right? And I need to what? Execute when RSI gets below 30, or at least be alerted, right? And I need to practice on what? Am I position trading? Am I swing trading? Am I day trade? What am I doing? I got to get real clear on that. All of that is going to take up plenty of time. You don't need to sit around reading cash flow statements unless you just like doing that. I don't like doing that. I think there's better things to spend your time on. Also, the experiencing of the business. I know people that own Roku don't have a Roku stick. That's just dumb. I'm gonna be honest with you. If you were sitting here, I'd tell you that right to your face. That's dumb. Why would you own a Roku and don't own a Roku stick? It's, how do you build conviction? I mean, if you're position trading it, why wouldn't you own the product, man? Right? I use Zillow every day. Every day. So I'm not near as worried about it. I use it every day. It is real estate online. I use Uber all the time. And all I kept thinking this recently is every stock somebody would show me, I'd go, yeah, but what about Uber? Meaning, it was so cheap. Go look at the chart now. It was shockingly cheap. Like really, really cheap. Shockingly cheap to me. But I have a lot of conviction in that stock and in that play. And the whole space, we could add Lyft in there, right? And there's other stocks in that space. But those are the two. That's the Coke and Pepsi. That's the Verizon and AT&T. That's the Pepsi and Coke, That's the two big players, the Exxon and the Chevron of the space. To me, it was an absolute no-brainer. Like, you have it on your phone probably, the Uber app, and go look at Dash right now, go Airbnb. Like, we were just gifted a gift from God when the growth stocks got smashed. And most of the people closest to me didn't see it that way. Made me sad, man. I mean, think on that. Because their time frame is so small that he showed up and he said, hey, I'm gonna hook you up. And they didn't see it. They're seeing where they bought it. They're not seeing the gift that's here right now. Because their time frame. And I've even had people in my own group say, is it possible that it ever gets back to that price again? I don't know where that fatalism comes from. The idea that the stock wouldn't get back to where it was. Now, will some stocks not get there? Sure, penny stocks, things like, if it's not a real business, it very well may not. But if it's a real business, of course it will. Of course it will. There's also trading skill, right? Where now you have to use your skill you've been taught. Now you have to trade inside of the money flow. So it runs up, hits 70, you take a little off even though you're down, it comes down. What did that give you? A tax loss, right? Against some of the winners later in the year. later in the year, right? And then what starts going sideways? Well, we have another stock that booms, and guess what? I could trim that and roll to this one, and it's called portfolio management. You're managing trades. You're managing trades. And you're going to be given another gift, I promise you. And if growth stocks return and they run up and everybody's rolling in, it's good times again, you'll look back and you'll say, wow, man, Uber got to $38. I can't even believe that. Why the fuck didn't I buy 10,000 of that? What was I thinking? You know, I mean, it pains me that I can't. What's killed me is that I spent all my money on a beach house and I have no money. But I bought some Uber. I had to borrow. I had to borrow against Bitcoin to do it. But I had to. Price was too cheap. On all metrics, it was too cheap. So there's a couple ways to look at that situation. I owned a bunch already, so I could be sad about it, or I could see the opportunity I'm being given. It's your only two choices, man. And that's the choice that I've always tried to see. It doesn't matter what I paid for it, it is what it is today. You understand that, right? Harvard did a whole test on this called sunk cost. Whatever you paid for it doesn't fucking matter. Nobody gives a shit but you. Think on that for a second. Nobody cares where you bought a stock. Nobody cares. It has nothing to do with what the stock is doing today. But in your mind, it will affect how you handle the stock. And yet that's not the trading. The strategy is not where you bought it and then we change the rules to how it's played. It's what stage is it in? Is it breaking out? Because you can have a stage 2 breakout, but you bought it $20 ago higher. It's still a stage 2 breakout. And then it runs up. Now maybe you don't have, but let's say it stops and starts to go sideways. You're still underwater. Well, it's still a stage 3. And then if it starts to roll over and do a stage 4 decline, you say, well, I'm down. It's still a stage 4 decline. It doesn't matter where you bought it. And so if you look at every transaction based on where you bought it, I don't know how you trade the market when the market reprices. In other words, I don't sell a rental because prices in my area go down. Why would I do that? I would look to buy more rentals. As long as they're renting, right? What do I care the price of a house? I'm not even paying for it. Somebody else is, right? So be careful of always analyzing everything where you bought it, because that's not reality. Meaning it is for you, I get it. This took me a long time to get my mind around this. It is to you, but it isn't to the stock. So you could, let's say you bought at $3, I'm just using an example, and it falls to $2. You're like, fuck this stock. And then I buy it at $2, and it goes to $2.50. We both own the same stock, right? The difference is you're down, right? And I'm up 20%. And we both own the same stock. You might be mad at that stock, and I'm like, man, I love this stock. Shit, I wish it had went a little lower. Two people looking at the exact same thing. So every time I bought a foreclosure, someone blew out and is selling it to me. Now, why is this an opportunity for me, but it's a problem for them? Because of where they bought it. Right? That's how they're perceiving it based on where they bought it, not the potential of it. Oh, that's a deep concept, man. I'm telling you, just sit and think on that. People don't think on that shit. Are you making decisions based on where you bought it or based on where the stock is? So and I want you and see this big picture. And I'm not talking day trading or trading here. I'm just talking in general, the picture. So in 2012, we had a dot-com crash. Most of you were probably learning to spell. So in 2012, there's a crash. Stocks crash. Tech stocks. They fall almost 50%. Intel, Microsoft, Google, all those fall. Huge. Today, that was a great opportunity, right? Well, to everyone that bought in 2011, that sucked ass. It really did. And it took a while to get back to where they were, right? Right. Well, what if you're brand new to the stock market and just started buying on the crash? You just rode the whole way up. You're killing it. You might be up 60% when the other guy gets back to even. And yet you're both in the same stock market. And yet you have a different opinion of things because of what? Where you bought it. Think on that, man. It'll change the way you see things. It really will. I don't want to babble too long today. I don't know if anybody's got any questions or want to engage anything, got something good to say. As I usually, I get off track on what I was going to talk about. Let me see. No questions. My man's name, Just Dave. That's funny. Let's see. I'll give you a good book. If you've never read Grant Cardone's 10X, that's a good book to read this year, man. That's a good book. Get you thinking. I mean, that guy's not for everybody, but his books are for everybody. He might not be for everybody, but his books are.